Well, good morning and welcome to another episode with Early Morning with Audrey. I think that's going to stick. I don't know. No one's complained about it, so we're going to keep it moving. So, my name is Audrey Codner and I'm the owner of Math by Audrey as well as the formal ACG Math Tutoring. And what I do here is I really want to speak to those that always had that feeling of I can't do math. Math is just not my thing. It's okay. And now you got to make it your thing because you need to pass this test. And the test could be a regular algebra class, or it could be algebra 2, or maybe even just simple GED, high school equivalency test, ASVAT, let's see if I can put it together, the ASVAT exam, maybe even the GRE for the general one, maybe even the beginning of praxis because you just need to refresh your memory on some of those concepts, the TEAS test, the HESI test, the Accuplacer, so you can score high enough that you don't have to take so much intermediate algebra classes and you can get to your goal a lot quicker. But for some reason, no matter how you watch videos and you've gotten PDFs, you just can't make it click. And the reason why is not because you're bad at math, because you're missing that initial instruction. You're missing some of the things that you forgot because it's been so long ago since you actually taken algebra. And now you're trying to apply old knowledge with this current test and you're thinking to yourself, yep, I know, I'm just bad at math. So as I come on here, I break down concepts. I kind of give you a little preview of all the stuff that I currently have in my test, which is called Algebra at Your Pace. It's a whole series with Math by Audrey. You have Algebra at Your Pace. We have a lot of resources, a lot of flashcards, a lot of memory cards, things with this, with word problems, also things with exponents and everything else. So all I do is I show a little bit of what I do so you can say, now I feel okay. Like, you don't have to marry math. You don't have to date it. You can just give it a kiss once in a while. And it'll be like, all right, we're okay. But enough for you to raise your score so you can get the score that you want in order for you to apply whatever your next step is. Maybe a better job, maybe improving your job, maybe getting paid a little bit more, whatever your reasoning is, so you can reach your goal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show more of the one thing that everyone loves, word problems. Okay? You're like, no. But we're going to break down word problems. Now, I feel that there is a pattern. The first thing, you cannot read the word problem like in its entirety because you're reading it like a novel. You're reading it like I need to understand every single solitary word because I want to know who done it at the end. I want to get all the clues. That's overwhelming. When you're looking at word problems, I'm going to walk you through where you should go first, what should you look out next, so you can take that information and create an equation so you can solve. All right, so let's go with the first one. When we have Miss Ashley. Now, I know initially you're looking at this and you're saying, oh dear sweet baby Jesus, give me strength. And he is, okay? He brought you here. So when you're taking a look at this, first off, I wouldn't read the whole thing. First place I would go to is going to be the question. What are we going to look for? So it's almost like a whodunit. We're trying to use word problems almost like how a detective does. We have to have a crime. So in order for us to figure out who done what, something what had to happen. So we need to know what is the crime. So in our case, the crime is going to be, or what we're going to be looking for, is how many weeks it took her to save the entire money. So now we're looking at what is going to be my variable. So in my case, when you look at the question, you're going to have to figure out, all right, what's going to be my variable? So we're looking at how many weeks. All right, well, since weeks starts with a W, I'm going to have my weeks being represented by W. Okay? So now I have my variable. Once I get my variable, that's when I'm going to go back and pull some information from the paragraph. So anytime I see some numbers, let me see what their importance is. So we got Ashley buying a bike that costs $180. So no matter what's happening, the total cost is going to be 180. So if I come up here, I know that no matter what's happening, it's going to equal 180. Because we're buying a bike. But then they gave us something else. She already has saved basically $45. So $45 is saved. So that means we're starting out with $45. Like she's on her quest of saving for this $180 bike. So we know we already have $45. And that is going to be a benefit. But what else is jumping at us? So the other thing that's jumping at us is she plans to save an additional $15 each week. Okay? That's vital. $15 each week. So this is what they're saying. I started off with $45. The following week, I'm adding an additional $15. The week after that, another 15. The week after that, another 15. And another 15 the week after that. And the week after that, and the week after that. Do you see the pattern? So for every week, we're saving $15. But we don't know how many weeks because that's what we're trying to find. And what did we use to help us try to find how many weeks? We're going to use our variable. All right? So this is what you do to set up your equation. Now, here's the thing. There is multiple ways of doing this. Because some of you are probably like, well, we can just do a mental math and blah, blah, blah. Got it. But here's my thing. If you take the test and they say, what is the equation for this? How are you going to set it up? How are you going to know? So here's my thing. Anytime they say each or every or any of those, this is going to represent my AKA slope. Okay? It's always going to be the number that's in front of it. Each week, every minute, every second, per mile. This number is going to be the coefficient, the number, in front of the variable. So now, let's think of it. Okay? My smiley face with a peace sign, don't forget about the X. Because 15 plus 45, don't forget the W. So now we're going to solve this for W. The goal is when you're solving an equation, regardless of how many steps they are, your goal is to get the variable by itself. So right now we have an equal sign. So the equal sign is like a barrier. We want to kind of keep things even on both sides. So it's not like when you want to work out and get into the gym, you're just doing from your waist up. And then you still have two little sticks for legs. People, throw in a leg day once in a while. I know it hurts, but seriously. Yeah, okay? Like you got great muscles, great back, nice traps, and then you have a saggy butt and two sticks for legs. Stop. Even it out. So that's why I need to think. I want to keep my 15W right where it is. That means I need to get rid of my plus 45. So what do? I do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 45 on both sides. Okay? Reason why I'm going to cancel out positive 45 and negative 45, that gives me 0. I don't need to put the 0 because I still have this 15W to bring down. So now 180 minus 45, that gives us 135. So now from here, we want to get W by itself. So it says 15W. That means 15 times W. And the inverse of multiplication is division. So 15 divided by 15, that gives me 1. So 1W or W. Okay, when you physically see a variable by itself, it's assumed that there is a 1 in front because you physically see 1W equals, now we have 135 divided by 15, so that gives me 9. What does this mean? Put in the chat. What does this mean? What does W equals 9 mean? Okay, thank you so much for the follows, guys, and thank you for coming in. Okay, Big L saying 9 payments. Daisy Love, it takes 9 weeks for her to save enough money. Lady with ambition, yes, Queen, love that. 9 weeks. Okay, Bruno, thank you for the follow. Henry saying 9 weeks. Okay, couple more. Big Al made the adjustment. Thank you, Big Al. 9 weeks. Okay. All right, thank you so much for the follow. So this is what's happening. After you solve an equation, always go back to the question. Are you answering the question? And a lot of you guys, when you take these exams, you're just like, oh, I got an answer. Oh, I see it. Yes, it has to be that. Pause. Because sometimes they may ask an extension. They may ask you to do something with that 9 to find something else. So it asks, how many weeks did it take her to save enough money? It would take 9 weeks. Because 9 times 15 gives me 135, and 135 plus the 45 gives us the 180. Okay. All right. There you go, John John. All right. So this is how you walk yourself through word problem. 1, don't get overwhelmed. Okay? Breathe. It's a word problem. They're trying to take basically an equation like this, and they're trying to make real world association with it. So first place you go to the question. Okay? You're failing this. Jesus, how can you fail anything? I'm sorry. It's an ongoing joke with me. All right. So I was like, I need you, Jesus. Come on. All right. So the first place you go to the question. The reason why you go to the question is so you can figure out what is your variable. All right. So when you see each, you can multiply. When you see each, whatever the number is that's in front, you are going to multiply it with your variable. Okay? So each, every, so it's like $15 every week, $15 every month, $15 or 15 miles per hour. It is going to be set up as a multiplication. Okay? All right? Once you figure out what your variable is, then you want to figure out what your equation is going to be. Sometimes they tell you this is how much something costs. That was giving me my total. Already saved $45. That's why we have 45. That's what we have. Then the 15 each week. that gave us our variable and what's happening every single solitary time. It's our rate of change. So it's linear. Every week that person's, whatever the person's name is, Ashley. See, I don't even know who the person's name was. Okay, I'm over here figuring out her finances so she can buy a bike. So that's why it's not that important for you, like knowing their names. Okay. Hey, film artist, how are you? Good morning. All right. So this is an example, okay, of one of the things that I put inside my books, Algebra at Your Pace. And also, if you just want practice problems for my ASVAT people, I'm going to come back to it, so don't go. We're going to do more. So for my ASVAT people, if you're looking for practice, and also GED people, you guys can use this book as well. Okay, I just designed it because it was more of the arithmetic reasoning at the time. So if you just need something to practice on, because after you learn all this, what are you going to do with this information? You need to practice. Hey, yo, hi, what's going on? All right, and if you want, there's also another one that you can do a mock test, which is your practice exams. Okay, same thing, sitting yourself down, timing yourself. When you guys take any kind of practice exam, regardless if it's mine or someone else, you need to time yourself, because as that, you have 1 minute for each question. Okay, GED or any high school equivalency test, you have 1 minute and 10 seconds for each question. Okay, there's going to be some questions you're going to know right off the bat, but there's going to be some questions that you're going to need some more time with. So that's why you don't want to just stay and celebrate. You actually want to be able to break things down. All right? Thank you much for coming in. Thank you for the taps, the loves, to make sure, tell the algorithm, hey, this is something that I need to see more of. There's only so many cat videos I can take. All right. That's okay. But see, this is the one thing about this. If it's one of those situations that you're like, dude, I wish I could stay the whole time, I gotta work. I also put my replays on my YT channel. Okay? Math by Audrey. Let's get rid of that. So it will take me some time to put up, but all my replays are there as well. Okay, hey Tata. All right, Lena, I see you. Or Lena, I see you. All right, so let's take a look for this one. We're not reading the whole thing. Where are we going first? We're going on a trip. We're going to the question. All right, so the question is, how many miles does she drive on Monday? So when I'm saying Monday, this is going to be my variable. So I can say M is going to equal Monday. All right. So now, just by knowing this, now I need, as being a good detective, I need to go back to my lovely paragraph and pull some information out. So they're saying truck driver drove twice as many miles on Tuesday. Huh, that's interesting. As she did on Monday. So we don't know Monday because we already identified it as my variable. But they're telling us something about Tuesday. So Tuesday, that's going to represent twice as many miles, okay, as Monday. So if Monday is represented by the letter M, or the variable M, twice as many will be my 2M, right? But then the last thing that they're giving us, on both days. So when I'm seeing both days, that's telling me I'm going to add them. And what else they reemphasize that? A total of 150 miles. So if it's only a total of 150 miles, it's going to equal 150. And both of my days are going to be represented. So the Monday, which is M, plus my Tuesday, which is 2M. And you just set up the equation. Okay. Questions so far? Yes, there is another way of doing this. Right? There is another way of doing it. And sometimes it's with the mental math, which is fine. Okay? But how can we solve this? How can we solve this equation? What do we do first? What do we do first? Okay. Combine like terms. Excellent. Okay. This is the one thing that a lot of people mix up. Add the M and the 2M. Good. Okay. Combine those like terms. Thank you, Mike. Or Miko, sorry. Alright. So, both of my variables are on the same side of the equal sign. This is the common mistake a lot of people make. They're like, oh, let me subtract the M on both sides. And then, oh, maybe I need to add the M back. Just take a look. You're always using your equal sign as a barrier, as a dividing post. Okay? If your variables are on both sides or on the same side of the equal sign, you don't have to do that subtraction that we did, like we did here. Okay? We don't have to do the inverse because they're on the same side. So M plus 2M, all right, M plus 2M is actually going to be 3M. Because remember what we said, if we don't see a number in front of the M, it's assumed to be 1. So if I see one milk dud, and then I see another additional 2 milk duds, that means all 3 milk duds are present. Okay, easy as Zep. Let's bring down to 150. So the goal is to get M by itself. Okay, Shay, I see you. Alright, so we need to get rid of the 3. So 3M is multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division. Okay. Yep, it is algebra. Yep, thank you, T. So now we're doing M is equal to 150 divided by 3. Well, how many 3's can go into 15? 5. And then we bring down how many 3's can go into 0? 0. What does this mean? Okay. What does that M equals 50 mean? I just keep seeing it, I see a lot of it. Okay, the legend, I see you. Welcome back. Mr. 20-something, welcome back. And already on it. I know, I see you. You have a college finite? Yes. Good morning, Bundles. How are you? Okay. Ramona, thank you. So 50 miles on Monday. She drove 50 miles on Monday. Thank you, Josh. Okay. Yeah, it's good to see you too. Big Al saying 50 miles on Monday. There you go, Zeppy. There you go, Zepp. I see you. Yes. So when you finally get an answer, go back. It's almost like a circle. All right, you go back to your original starting point, which was the question, and you see if you are answering the question. So how many miles did she drive on Monday? Since M is representing Monday, that means my answer has M equals 50. So it was 50 miles that she drove on Monday. All right. So don't let word problems get to you, right? Don't let word problems get to you. We have to take it step by step. So I'll be truthful. If this is something like, man, she's really dragging it on, well, this is not the platform for you. Maybe something else is. There's tons of other creators, but I'm really talking to those that math has always been a struggle. And I understand that struggle because I went through that struggle. So I like to take things step by step and to show you where are the loopholes. And also to show you where are those pitfalls that a lot of people commonly make mistakes on. Okay? So as long as you understand that when you're solving the equation, you want to use what's called the inverse, the opposite. So the opposite of addition will be subtraction. The opposite of multiplication is division, and vice versa. Okay? All right. But word problems is your biggest issue. And that's what a lot of people say. And it's just a matter of, one, we can't read the whole thing because these are relatively short, believe it or not. There has been some that are just like, boom, like huge. And you're just like, dude, I have no idea where to start. And I actually might do one of those so you can see it. Is remembering the steps. Okay. And that, once you learn the steps, film artists, then all of a sudden, it's that practice. It's that consistency. That's what gets us. And I know, sometimes life be lifing. Alright. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Let's amp it up a little bit. Okay, we're going to amp it up a little bit, but we're still going to be doing with word problems. So, first thing, we're not doing the whole reading. Where are we going? Right to the question. And it's saying, what is the average speed of the airplane in still air? Okay. So what is the average speed of the airplane in still air? So there must be some kind of airplane flying and there's no wind. Okay, this would be the best way that I could say. So like if you ever flew in an airplane, and there's another assumption, that's one thing I don't like about word problems. They're assuming that everybody has flown an airplane. And in this day in life, a lot of people have never taken a flight. So now I have to explain. So when you're up in the air and you're praying that you stay there until you get to your destination, all right? When the wind is like very still, have you ever gone outside and you're just like, damn, where's the wind at? There's no breeze, there's no nothing. It's just very still. The plane is still flying, and it's usually nice and smooth. There's no disruption. But when there is wind, okay, it can either go at the plane or it can go like on the tail end. It's either helping to push the plane, so sometimes you get to your destination a lot sooner because you got what's called that tailwind that was pushing the plane forward. And you're like, hey, we're going to get to our destination a lot quicker. But when you're going against the wind, I know, I feel like I'm singing a song. Against the wind. Sorry. When it's going against the wind, the plane has to work harder to get to its destination. Okay? There's a lot of resistance. So when we take a look at this, I'm going to say, all right, for still air, I'm going to just pick a letter. I don't know why, but I just want to pick P. Don't ask me why. I just want P. I think P for the plane. in still air. Okay? So that's going to be my variable in still air. But I notice right now, I'm going to go back up. So here we are. Small plane flies 600 miles against a steady headwind in 5 hours. Whoa. Now we got another variable, guys. Because we were talking about the airplane in still air. So now we're talking about against a steady headwind. So we got some wind, right? So we have some wind that we need to put into. So I'm going to say W is going to represent my wind. Because if we were talking about still air here, now we got another variable that's talking about the wind. So let's take a look. We know that it flies 600 miles. So we know no matter what, it's going to equal that 600 miles. Are we okay so far? So we have going against the headwind at 5 hours. On the return trip, flying with the exact same wind, but this time it's a tailwind. So it's helping the plane to get to the destination a lot sooner. The journey takes only 4 hours. So we have going, and then we also have the little bit tailwind, and it takes 4 hours. We basically have two equations, guys. If we really think about it. We got going to the destination and coming back from the destination. It's still same 600 miles, but that wind is a factor. So let's think of it. Now, if I am going to deal with this headwind in 5 hours, this is what I'm talking about. The plane in still air, and if I take away the wind, okay, and I'm going to multiply it to the number of hours, that should tell me what my total miles is going to be, which is the 600. Okay, so we got two things. The first equation is going to deal with the small plane flying 600 miles against, okay, against the wind. So that means I need to take that wind factor out of it in order for me to figure out what the plane is in still air. But that's in 5 hours. That's going to our trip. Then coming back, the return trip, this time we got tailwind, and that tailwind is helping us. So again, we still have our 600. That's the same distance, but this time the tailwind helped us. The wind helped us. So that's going to be plus the plane in still air, but this one only took 4 hours. Okay, so we have like two equations. All right, so let's take a look. We could, and I'm going to put it over here, we could basically isolate, or we can do this one of two ways. We can either take them individually or do the distributive property and then do some other things, which is called system of equations. But I want to keep it simple. Okay? Yes, I had to. Yeah, because in the afternoons, it's too much. I figured that I was getting death threats, and most of them were happening in the afternoons and the evenings. So far, unless you guys get froggy, so far, the mornings seem to work best. Yes, I know. So you have to adjust with the world, but I didn't want to just up and go. I was not going to give them that power. And of course, I reached out to TikTok, and TikTok did nothing, so I have to take it on my own. All right? I know, unless you guys get froggy. So, let's talk about each of the equations. So, if I take my 5 times p minus w equals 600. How many? Yes, death threats. Yeah. So, how many people would do distribution first? You can just say me. How many people would have done distribution? Okay, bundles. Okay, thank you for your honesty. Okay, Big Al, thank you. All right, there you go. That's exactly what I would do, lady. Okay, Amir. Okay, now instead of doing that, you're going to give yourself more work. So let's make this simple. Since it's 5 times p minus w, why not do the inverse of times? So the inverse, or the opposite of times, of multiplying, is dividing. Divide both sides by 5. Because you're going to isolate your p minus w, because we're going to do something fun with that. So what's 600 divided by 5? TK, I see you. Thank you. So 600 divided by 5. There you go. We got 120. We got 120. Not 13. It'll be like 120. Okay, because how many 5s can go into 6? 1 with a remainder of 1. Then it'll be a 10. How many 5s can go into 10? 2 times. And then how many 5s can go into 0? 0 times. Okay. Keep this in mind. So now, let's go with the second equation. And we're going to do the same thing. So the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I want to do some more practice with solving and to show you guys that you don't always have to distribute. So doing the same exact way, you can divide both sides by 4. So what's 600 divided by 4? Okay, Big Al saying 150. Okay. Sparks, I see you with 150. Alright. Thank you for joining in. Alright, The Legend, yes. Is that Wallflowers? Yes, with the 150. Thank you so much. Alright. So now we have these two equations. If I combine those two equations, so I have my, I'm going to put in a new pair. I'm going to just rewrite the other one up top here. So P minus W equals 120. Alright, so if I have those two equations, so I'm going to focus on those two. What do you notice? What do you notice about these equations? Okay, Parks. Both can be divided by 3. True. Make it even easier for yourselves. Make it even just a little bit easier for yourself. If I look at it more vertically, I notice that I can cancel out my W's if I add them. Yes. Okay, random thought. Okay, you can cancel out your W's if I add those two equations together. And that's exactly what we want, because we're looking for what? We're looking for what is the average speed of the plane in still air. We're looking for P. So if we can find a way to get P's together, that'll be awesome. By adding these two equations together, the W's will cancel out, because a positive W and a negative W will give me 0. I don't need the 0 as a placeholder, because I still can add my 2 P's, which will give me 2P, because 1P plus 1P gives me 2 P's. So now what's 150 plus 120? Hello. I always want to say Amika, and I know it's not me. It's a Amka. Alright, so thank you, Big Al, 270. DeLegend 270. Amka 270. Good. So now, all we have to do is get P by itself. So 2P, that's multiplication. Inverse of multiplication is division. So 2 divided by 2, that'll give me 1 or 1P, or just P. And then the 270 divided by 2, well, how many 2's can go into 2? 1. How many 2's can go into 7? 3, with a remainder of 1 to make it 10. And how many 2's can go into 10? 5. So we have P is equal to 135. Did we answer the question? Let's go back. What is the average speed of the plane in still air? And we said that P is going to represent the plane in still air. So our P is 135. And 135 what? Miles per hour. Okay. Alright. That was a lot. And then that tells me a lot. Because a lot of people are like, oh, that's too much work. I'm not doing all that. Da, 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 da. But here's my thing. Most of your word problems that you see, especially for the GED, the ASVAT, the Accuplacer, those are going to be your high dollar 3 to 4 point questions. Because remember, GED, especially for the GED, you don't have the same value for every question. You're going to have 1 point questions, which is a simple multiplying an integer, adding fractions together with a common denominator. They're like simple 1 point questions. Then you're going to have your 2 point questions. When they apply it, maybe the fractions will have unlike denominators. Then you have to find the percentage. Then you're doing the distance, rate, and time question, which is a basic one. Just finding one or the other, like the rate or the time or the distance. And then you get to your 3 point questions when you start looking at some of the word problems and you're breaking some of the things down. But then your 4 point questions, those are the questions that you guys are skipping. That's slope. That's equation of the line. That's graphing an equation of the line. That is solving linear inequalities, graphing linear inequalities, finding the system of equations. Most of your word problems, when you have to not only to translate, but then you would have to solve. Okay, these are like 4 point questions. volume, surface area, factoring. Those are your 4-point questions. And you're skipping them. And you're thinking, I'm hoping I have enough points that I can just get over. The way that the GED is designed, you have to get at least 3 4-point questions in order for you to get remotely close to pass. If you do very well with the arithmetic section and you're able to get 3 or 4 questions that are 4-point valued, you'll pass. Hands down, you'll pass. But because you're skipping those 4-point questions, mathematically you will not pass. So you have to face your fear with word problems. You have to face your fear with graphing. You have to face your fear with finding slope, finding the equation of the line. Okay? And especially if they give you an equation. They're saying, all right, we're giving you an equation. Those are really considered 3-point questions. Questions like this where you have to figure out the equation and solve, that's a 4-point question. Okay? So this is information that you need. And because you're like, man, I haven't seen this stuff in forever, and it's great that you're here on the lives, and let me see if I can talk to you like a human being instead of behind the screen. Maybe. Yes. Hi, how you doing? So because you're trying to do all these things, and you guys haven't been in school for a long period of time, you like how I break concepts down. I love doing it this way. This is when I take my time so you can see where you can slip up and then tweak your thinking. I truly believe that you can do math, because if I can do math and teach it, you can do math. Like, I used to suck at math, like completely. Fractions, word problems, hell no. I was the same exact way. Not doing it, I'm skipping it. But then I kept noticing, every time I keep skipping it, people are thinking automatically, like, oh, maybe she has special needs and this and that. And I'm like, no, I just don't understand it. I never had anyone that sit me down and broke it down. So now that you can get somebody to break it down, now what you need to do with this information, because we're not just here for entertainment. I know TikTok is designed for entertainment and all that, but we're not just here for entertainment. What are you going to do with this information that you got? Some of you guys are like, oh, I feel so much better. Oh my God, I see how she did that. You're voguing on the thing. So, but you see how it's done, but what are you going to do with this information? The reason why a lot of you guys say, when you do it with us, Audrey, I get it. I get it. But when I try to do it by myself, I don't get it. Because when you learned it, you didn't give yourself a chance to practice it. When a lot of you guys are like, oh, Audrey, hey, I want to get access to your books. Yeah, I want to do a lot of practice. And then you probably get like a whole bunch of other people that give you like free PDFs and, oh, I saw this program and I did, IXL and I did Khan Academy and all these other places, which is great. But if you don't understand the concept and you're trying to use prior knowledge when you were first learning it back in high school many moons ago, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to kind of do that. It's one of the best things that happened to me. Oh, film artists, love you. Okay, do I teach Calc 3? I do not. That is not me. But if you do need a tutor for Calc 3, I can help you out. Just message me. Okay? Studying for my ASVAT. Yep, the arithmetic reasoning is the only thing stopping you. And here's my thing. You're stopping you. I hate to say it. Because no one taught you how to, one, study math. No one taught you how to break down word problems. And majority of the time, especially with the ASVAT, a lot of it is mental math. We could have solved, okay, those 3 problems that we did today. Uno, dos, tres. Okay? A lot of that was mental math. Some of it we didn't have to do all of the things. You guys are so sweet. Okay? So, like, even the first one with, what was her name? Ashley. I feel bad for Ashley because I've been forgetting her name all day. All right? So, even with this one with Ashley, like, a lot of it could easily have just been mental math. We know that the total was 180. All right, we already saved 45, so let me take the 180 minus the 45, and then we divide by 15 to see how many weeks there are. That's what we did, but we did it in an algebraic form. That's the only thing that was different. But could you have done that mentally? A lot of you guys did. A lot of you guys were giving me the answer before I even wrote the equation. So that's awesome. So give yourself grace. Give yourself space. But when you're learning and you're watching the videos and you're watching the replays, you know, you're going to need something to practice on. I'm going to be truthful. So if it's my stuff, awesome. If it's not my stuff, find something else. Find something that works. Okay? And if anybody here is thinking about taking the T's test, because I don't know who's still here and who's still left, make sure you follow a blessed RN. Okay, she's here on TikTok and she does doses calculations. That's all she did. No, message me, please. Please, please, please. I'd rather you guys message me and ask questions before you dive into anything. So if you're looking for any kind of practice exams, if you're looking for any kind of resources, flashcards, maybe to help you go from verbal to exponential or to verbal to word problems, you know, to actually an algebraic expression, you can do that. I have cards that will help you with going from an expression to a graph. Right? So, and also there's task cards. But here's my thing. Don't just sit and absorb the information. Really want to apply it. So as soon as we're done with all this, we have to figure out a way how to apply it. So I do have all those. I would love for you to buy them. If you want to know where you can go and get them, there is a link in my bio. And try not to blind you guys. Okay, there is a link in my bio for my stand store. Right here. Follow the arrow. Ooh. Let's see if we can clear this up a little bit. Okay, so once you click onto the link of that stand store, and it will take you on a journey. So the first start of the journey is, let's figure out how ready you are for math. So once you click on this, it will take you to write your name and your email, just so I know who is looking at my stuff. And then take the freebie. Okay, it's a 15-question quiz, and it's touching on and actually gives you the label of what it looks on, and it's free. I'm not going to harass you. I just basically like to know who's using my stuff. Okay, and if you want, you can get downloadable versions of all my books. These are all my ebooks. So I do have like some of the matching cards, the most recent ones. I can put that back down to the other store. Then I have my starter system, which gives you the first 2 volumes of Algebra at Your Pace. Okay, but then just take a look. Take a look, browse through. And if anything, if there's something that interests you, you know, like maybe you want like some of the individual books, and you just wanted to get more information about each individual books. My thing is, the systems will be so much better. But if you're like, hey, I want the practice books, I have 2 different types. Okay? Okay, does the quiz time you? You will time yourself. I always give you a certain amount. Okay, so like it's not a downloadable program, it's a electronic version of my books. So if you do, hey, if you're going to take the quiz, then you have your phone, type in 40 minutes, put your phone to the side, and when it goes off, no matter where you're at, you stop. And then after you do it a few times, you'll probably find yourself getting yourself a little bit faster. Okay? So that's one thing you can do. So you could have the paper version, but then when I add it for the guided resources for the video solution. So I actually have a video that breaks down all the solutions of the book. Okay, so if you want anything and you're like, how does she solve it? Instead of just looking in the back of the book to get the answer, you're able to get the option if you want to get the video. So up here is just the paper copies, and then down below, I really hate when they do this. Okay, but anyway, and then underneath it will give you the video. So go ahead and browse through. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with it, but that's exactly where you want to go. So even if you click on it, okay, so you have like your stand store, click on it, and you can just go ahead and click. You don't have to purchase anything. Click on it just so you can read the information. And if that's not for you, then you just go to the very top and then you just back out of it. Okay? So go ahead and take a look. All right? Any questions? Any questions? I don't know. I think I scared a lot of people off. But this is what you can do. Okay, so I do have my resources, I do have some quizzes, I do have some tactic stuff, and then you can always ask questions. If there's something that you want, just go ahead and click my profile pic, and then, just come on in. Ask me a question. I'd rather you ask a question before you make any kind of purchases, to be honest with you. I know I'm not here. I would love to sell my stuff. That would be awesome. But at the same time, I want to make sure that you're getting the proper resource, if anything. Okay? All right. Any questions? All right. Okay, so if you do have any questions, do not hesitate to message me. I will actually see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. And if you have any questions whatsoever, I'm serious when I say that, please ask. Even if you're like, Audrey, do you know a tutor that does 4th grade? Because I don't do 4th grade. I do 7th grade and up. I used to have the patience. As I got older, I really don't. But if there's anything that you're looking for a tutor for your child that's in 4th grade, or if you know somebody that I'm like, I don't know how to approach it. Like, I know he needs help or she needs help with passing the exam, but what they're currently doing is not working. How can I approach it? Ask. Okay, that's the only way that you're going to be able to get your answers. All right, everyone. So again, it was awesome. I will see you guys next time. So have an amazing day. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Take care now.